Morning, peeps. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. All right, two things to tell you about very quickly. The first one, very important. I did mention at the end of my last video, but I know you guys don't watch the videos to the end. It's okay. I'm not judging you. I'm going to the World Cup, people. Your boy is going to the World Cup. It's been a dream of mine for like the last 6 or 7 years, and it's happening. It's actually happening. It just got confirmed a couple of days ago. And I'm telling you guys straight away because I'm very excited and I can't keep a secret. My first game is Brazil-Morocco, which I think is June 13th. I fly out June 9th and I'm there until the final. So I'll be based in the East Coast. So I'll be covering games in Philly, in New York, in Boston. I think I might be doing a game in Miami as well. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it's happening. Your boy's going to the World Cup. I don't know how I feel right now. Maybe because I've got like something to handle first. I've got to do Usyk. I've got to do something else as well. And when I've done that, then I can focus on the football. But yeah, it's happening. We're going to the World Cup. I'll be doing it for a company or a broadcaster, called Sporty TV. They have a lot of the African rights. So Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, and others. And I'm going to be their lead presenter. Wow. Very excited about it. Forever grateful. I always try to do a lot of football, but it's been so difficult for me to break through in football. I've done some Premier League games. I've done some Champions League games. I did the Euros, England versus Spain, but this is obviously the biggest. So yeah, that box is getting ticked and prep already has started because there's obviously, this isn't Premier League football. I've got to know everything about some of the most obscure teams, but I will. Trust me, I'm going to get it locked in. But yeah, that's the first one. The second one, not as important, Ade and Gman. Now, I see on Gman's page, a lot of people, where's Ade? What's going on? And on my page, where's Gman? He's there. I'm here. I mean, me and Gman speak every other day, literally every other day. I think I'm seeing him tonight. Gman and me are working on a podcast. I think he mentioned it to you guys. Probably shouldn't have mentioned it. And that's pretty big. It's a pretty big podcast, trust me. So we're working on other stuff. Ade and Gman is coming back. It'll be back in about 3 or 4 weeks once this podcast is done, or at least once we've filmed the first few episodes, and then it's coming back. But there is no Ade and Gman beef. I mean, I've been seeing tweets and sort of responses in the comment section like, are Ade and Gman arguing? Gman's my boy. We're like this. So no, none of that's happening. All right, enough of that stuff. Let's talk some boxing. Let's start where I was on Saturday. I was in Doncaster, which was raining. These stadium fights, it's always risky, isn't it? Like a stadium fight in the UK, I don't care if we're in the heat of summer, it's always risky. And it started pissing it down. And I was like, oh, God, which wasn't great. In the end, main event wasn't great as well. Obviously, it was billed as Dave versus Goliath, and it kind of played out, well, I say not in the biblical sense, but it played out like that, where Philip Hrgovic was just far too good for Dave Allen. In fact, I haven't seen, or I can't remember a time where Philip Hrgovic has started that fast. It's almost like he knew he was levels above Dave Allen, and it was like, we're not fucking about here. We're just going to get the job done because I've got other business to take care of in August, and I want to get this done as quickly as possible, because he started on the front foot, and I think that surprised Jamie Moore, Nigel Travis, and Dave Allen. I think that surprised them as well, because he was immediately just showing you who was the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the better boxer. I'm the bigger man. And I'm just going to bully you into submission. And that's kind of what he did. He just kind of made it look so easy. Made it look so easy. And look, I think we all knew Hrgovic was a big favorite, but I thought Dave might do something. I thought, okay, Dave Allen, you know, who knows, right? He might really perform. And Hrgovic in the past has kind of looked a bit one-paced, and I did not see a one-paced Philip Hrgovic. I saw a man that was setting up his shots. He was creating enough distance to really land those big right hands. He landed a couple of uppercuts. He went to the body. Dave Allen's only hope was those kind of big overhand looping rights, and Hrgovic was seeing him from a distance. That was a one-sided beatdown. And then we move on to what next? What next? And you guys heard me ask the question about Moses Itauma. It's a shame Moses wasn't there. Hrgovic seems all systems go for Moses. Like, my thing about the Moses thing was, we know Moses wants to fight in August. So I'm guessing they're going to try and go, if I'm Hrgovic's team, the latest date in August, which I think is the 25th, I think, the latest Saturday. Does that give Hrgovic enough time to turn around? It does. He had the smallest of nicks, nothing, and he had a 3-round sparring session. He's good to go. What's today? May 18th. He can rest until, I don't know, the end of June. So he can literally have a 6-week chill out, and then it turns into a 7-week fight camp. Is that not enough? I don't know. I know some people like 10-week fight camps. Some people like them shorter. But I am now super, super intrigued by that matchup. And I know it's Dave Allen, but still, Hrgovic still looked very aggressive and very good. And he looks in shape as well. Like, that was a Hrgovic that weighed 248. Last time out against David Adelaide, he weighed 241. But I think the 248 actually looked better on him than the 241. Like, he looked physically really strong. And he is not, by any stretch of the imagination, scared of Moses Itauma. And he might be looking at it a bit like Canelo Floyd, where let me get him now. Let me get him now before he maybe is a bit too good and a bit too confident. And maybe that's the reasoning for taking this fight. Or maybe he just looks at him and thinks, okay, yeah, you're icing these guys, but you're icing B and C levels. You're now stepping up to the top table, and it's a whole different ball game. So Hrgovic is going to be super confident. Itauma's super confident. You ask Itauma, what do you want now? I think someone the other day, it might have been on my video actually, someone asked Itauma, like, name your next 3 opponents or what you want. And he said Hrgovic. So he's fully focused on Hrgovic. And this is the step up we want. I mean, Jermaine Franklin was a step up because Jermaine Franklin gives you rounds. That didn't happen. Dylan White was a step up because he's a bit experienced. That didn't happen. This is it. This is it, because you're taking on a very good amateur in Hrgovic, someone that I think is a lot better under Abel Sanchez, although Abel wasn't there on Saturday. I don't know if there's an issue there. Someone that has a granite chin, and someone who is no doubt, there's no doubt about it, if everyone does their top 10 heavyweight list, Hrgovic is in the top 10. Moses would be in the top 10 based off what you think he's going to become. In terms of the level of opponents he's beaten, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But Hrgovic is rock solid top 10. And that's what you want for Itauma. Let's see how good you are. We'll find out in August. I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. Hrgovic is a very confident, arrogant man as well. Like, the face-off between these two is going to be very interesting, because I feel like Hrgovic is going to look at Itauma like, you're a kid and I'm going to destroy you. He says something, and I should have asked him what it meant. He said, Itauma hasn't been to the promised land yet. And I was like, what do you mean? But I kind of wanted to move on to Dave Allen. But I was like, what's he talking about? Is he talking about he hasn't had a step up? I don't know what he's talking about. Is he talking about sort of coming back from adversity, being in there against someone like you look at Hrgovic, I mean, Joyce, Adelaide, Zhang, I feel like I've missed someone out. He's been in there with some good cats. His chin has been tested. His gas tank's been tested. And Dubois, obviously, of course, Dubois. It's going to be an interesting fight, right? It's going to be an intriguing fight. We'll see if it happens. But hopefully we get some sort of announcement very soon. Canelo Alvarez, in his 22nd year as a pro, says Christian Mbili is a great fighter. He's a good fighter. Certainly not a great fighter. I almost feel like this is now, obviously this is the final chapter, the final lap of Canelo's career. And like I've said this already, if you aren't Terence Crawford and Benavidez surely isn't ever coming down to 168, I would still make Canelo favourite against any 168 on the planet. I would still make him that favourite. And maybe the rest has done him good as well. He's always been a May, September. Now it's September. And I think as you get older, and we've seen this with Crawford and Usyk, maybe that one fight every 12 to 18 months is better than what they used to do, 2-3 fights a year. Maybe. I don't know. I think there's still an argument to stay active. Alexander Usyk, AJ free, not out of the question, says Eddie. It's out of the question. Stop it. I'd love to know the context of that conversation, but it is out of the question. I mean, these guys are now buddies. They're friends. They're running on the beach like fucking Rocky and Apollo Creed. It's done, people. And no one would be up for seeing that unless, I mean, look, I guess what Eddie's saying maybe is if AJ looks astonishing and knocks out Tyson Fury right after his Christian Prenga fight, then maybe you can sell something, but no. Lawrence Okolie, I did not cheat. This is very clear cut. Isn't that easy, Lawrence? Isn't that easy? I spoke to Lawrence when? Wardley Dubois. He came up to me, Wardley Dubois. And I said, dude, this is kind of weird. I said, dude, please tell me this is not serious or not real. And he's like, no. You watch, it's all going to be cleared up. And I hope for his sake it is. Because it's the wrong time for your career to be on pause. It's the wrong time. There is silly money in the heavyweight division. A lot of big fights to be made. Yoka was a big fight for him. Like, if he were to have beaten Yoka, we could be having a conversation now about him versus Dubois. A world title fight in a stadium maybe, or at least a packed arena. He's kind of fallen behind now. So hopefully, again, for his sake, he can clear his name and everyone can move on. Hearn says Croke Donovan trilogy fight would be too big for Croke Park. What? 1 second. Oh, would be too big for Croke Park undercard. Okay. Don't know. I do think, and I said this, didn't I? Like, this Katie Taylor dream send-off in Croke Park, it might have to be the case of you stack the undercard. You look at all the Irish fighters and, you know, Eddie and Frank look at their stable and they come together on one night and they almost do a celebration of Irish boxing and you stack it with that. Do you know what I mean? You put everything you can. Kakache come in there somewhere. You literally put every big Irish name. Kevin Ajarko versus someone. You stack it as opposed to these guys fighting small main events elsewhere. And let this be the big send-off that she wants. I actually think it would be a good idea to do that. Donovan looked good in his last fight in Germany. I thought he started slow, but it was making the guy miss. And when the guy missed, he'll make him pay. A different style from the aggressive Donovan that we saw in the Crocker 1 fight. But I think it was so important just to win. But where he's been in his career, back-to-back defeats, where he thought he was a world champion, then he got disqualified, then he got, knocked down in that second Crocker fight. He had to win this one. So sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to go away from home and just nick a victory. And he didn't nick it, by the way, but it was close. It was close. The second knockdown wasn't a knockdown. That obviously helped him, a 10-8 round. But I thought he won it by a 2 or 3, and he looked good as well doing it. So, yeah, hopefully we do see that one next. But Crocker's got his own work. Crocker is going to Australia, right? Liam Parrow, that's not easy. If he's not on his A game, he could easily lose that one. All right, Bivol Benavidez is the fight to make, says Eddie Hearn. Are you more intrigued by Bivol Benavidez or Optimum Benavidez? I feel like I'm leaning and swinging towards Optimum Benavidez. Like, I don't want Benavidez. I don't want any excuse about the weight cut. And I now feel like once your body's used to walking around, he walks around big anyway, but fighting at 200 pounds, to ask it to cut 25 pounds to fight again might be a problem. I don't even know what the bigger fight is. I don't know, like, if we're talking bums on seats and interest, I think it could be Jai. I don't know. Could be. Boxers Ben Shalom, my worry for Sky Sports is the lack of a British promoter. Yeah. I think the Zuffa thing, and even to an extent the MVP thing, I do feel that they need a British spokesperson. Maybe. Do you know? Not? I think so. I think so. Because Zuffa's what? Dana White and MVP Nikisa, who speaks really well, to be fair, and Jake. But I do think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a British voice kind of be the face over here for both. Maybe. And then that wouldn't be an issue. All right, are we done? Oh, Inoue, Jesse Brown Rodriguez in Japan, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. If Jesse wants that fight, and he's the one that's shouting and aiming for Inoue. Inoue's not asking for Jesse. Then I do think you have to take that fight away. I do think you're gonna have to go to Inoue's back garden and see what you can do. Let's see though. Jesse obviously moves up to bantamweight next month. I think his fight with Vargas is. If he looks good there, then he might say, "Fuck it, let's go." One more cheeseburger in weight. Let's go up. Couple more pounds. And let's take on the monster. Monster versus monster. Wow. Pound for pound number 2 versus pound for pound number 4 or 5. Woo. Jesus Christ.